You could have this at a restaurant. In fact, I wish a restaurant around here would serve this. That'd be great. Hey, welcome to Stacy's Recipe Box. Today in episode 6, we are doing Salisbury steak. If you think of TV dinners when you think Salisbury steak, think again. This one will blow it out of the water. The freezer aisle TV dinner pales in comparison to what I have to share with you today, I promise. I'm going to show you today how to make a tender, savory steak that's got a fantastic creamy mushroom and onion gravy that is sure to impress anyone you serve it to. They will want it on repeat. Our ingredients today are going to be portobello baby mushrooms, Montreal steak seasoning, parsley, onion, eggs, Dijon mustard, heavy cream, Worcestershire sauce, 2 pounds of lean ground beef, butter, our seasoned breadcrumbs, garlic powder, onion powder, and our beef base to make our beef broth. And we're chopping up an onion somewhat fine. Then we're going to prepare our mushrooms for slicing. 1/4-inch slices are just fine. To our medium bowl, we're going to add 2 eggs at room temperature and whisk. And after whisking, we'll add our 2 pounds of lean ground beef. Ideally, it should be at room temperature if you can. Then adding our seasoned breadcrumbs. Next, we'll add our 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And next, we're adding our 1 teaspoon each of garlic and onion powder, roughly a teaspoon, give or take. And lastly, for our seasonings, we're going to add a generous palmful, which is approximately 2 tablespoons of Montreal steak seasoning. Clean hands. Yes, with your very clean hands or with gloves, we're going to gently mix in our ingredients. Be careful not to overwork the meat or it can become tough. You just want to mix it until combined and then stop. At this point here, you're going to see that I like to pat it into like a mound because I want it to be easy to divide into portions. You can do 4 or 6. Now we shape into patties, leaving the center slightly thinner than the outside edges. Just set them aside on a plate so they are ready to place in the gravy when comes that time. Now make sure you add a light neutral flavored cooking oil. In this case I used avocado. And then all we're going for is a sear on our beef at this point. We're not going to cook it all the way through. But that browning in the pan will make the flavor incredible. All right, we have our pan very hot. Ready to go. We're just going to do 2 at a time. We're going to give it a few minutes here. I'm going to bring my temperature down a little bit, about medium. Wash my hands after touching the raw meat. So what ends up happening is we end up putting them back into the pan after our vegetables are softened and ready to go. And then they'll continue to finish cooking in the gravy that we will put together. All right, time to flip. Give it a couple more minutes on each side. Just kind of checking to see how the bottom's doing. Oh yeah, very nice. That's what we want to see. So, so then our other 2 go in. Again, a little more oil. That didn't take long. All right, next. Ooh, we're going to bring our temperature down a little bit too. Let's pull the pan off and just cool it down a bit. All this wonderful brown bits and some coloring in the pan, we want to keep that. Do not get rid of that. That is your flavor. All right, our pan has cooled down a little bit. We're going to add that butter in. So our temperature is up there. We don't want to burn the butter, so let's get our onions and mushrooms in. It'll also cool off the pan and bring that temperature down. All right, they've had a few minutes here to get soft. We're going to add in our mushrooms. Oops. So I'm going to salt the mushrooms a little bit because what that does is it draws out the moisture out of the mushrooms. You kind of want a really nice kind of golden thing happening with that. All right, see that moisture's already coming out. And we're getting kind of glistening and shiny, so it shows that that salt is working. So at this point too, you're going to want to get, I do believe it's about 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour ready, because we use 4 tablespoons of butter. So that is going to help create our roux to make our gravy. So just while that's cooking, you want to make sure you've got your flour ready. And as well as having your flour ready, you're going to want your beef broth also prepared and ready to roll, because when it's time to go, it's time to go. So I did not constantly work them in the pan. You just want to let them sit, because the goal here is to get some browning on the bottom. And it is happening. They're already reducing down and getting smaller. I like to kind of push them against the pan so they have good contact. And we'll let it go for a couple more minutes. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, it's looking good. Just under medium. It's not burning, it's cooking great, it's getting nice and brown. So we are throwing that flour in. And taking our whisk to get that fat into the flour. And you want to cook out the taste of the flour. You're just letting it sit for a minute or two and getting it all combined. All right, so it's been a little while here, so let's just put in our beef broth. Let's give my broth a stir here before we put it in. This really is an easy dish to make. Just a little bit at a time. You don't want to flood the pan with all the broth. Take it nice and easy. And as you stir it, it's going to grab that flour and become saucy. It's going to be the base for our gravy. And the little ocean that our beef patties are going to start floating in and absorbing all that wonderful flavor. Let's get the rest in here. Well, maybe not quite all of it. And I'm trying to also, there wasn't a ton of bits, brown bits from the beef in the pan to start with, but whatever you have in there, keep it. Do not discard it. It is your flavor. Ooh, it's getting a little messy. Rest is in. Now we are going to add with the juices as much as you can. Okay, I'm working with one hand here, so we want to get these patties submerged. They need to go finish cooking in the gravy. Okay. Getting a nice simmer going. So we're just going to bring our temperature down and simmer it nice and gentle for a little while here, which I will check and see how long we need to have the simmering. So yeah, I'm at it pretty low. I just want a real gentle simmer so that beef does not break apart. All right, we're also adding in that tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, so just a few sprinkles here. It's not a lot. And then it also calls for a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And this is a half teaspoon, so we're just going to do a nice little heaping one here. Call it good. and get that into that sauce. Gonna kind of do a nice easy mixing in of the Dijon, because I do not want that to disturb our beef too much. I want that mustard to be, it just adds that little something, you know. It nice addition to this gravy. I've seen some Salisbury steak recipes have ketchup, and I don't know, I just can't get into that. That just does not work for me. I do not want tomato in my Salisbury steak, I guess. I don't know. There's other times for ketchup, but I just feel like this is not one of them. And it doesn't hurt to maybe check on it and see how our sauce is actually, or gravy is actually coming along in the flavor department. Oh, very good. I think the only thing I would add is some black pepper. Just a little bit of black pepper. I don't know, maybe eighth to a quarter teaspoon. It's plenty salty from all the seasonings and the Montreal steak. It is coming along nicely. This is such a comfort food. If you like meat and potatoes, you gotta give it a try. So kind of a super easy supper, honestly, from scratch. It's really good. I'm just gonna put a little splash of heavy cream in there. You do not have to put in the cream, but I just think it adds such wonderful richness. We are ready to serve. Place one of these on here. Sprinkling of parsley. Now it is time for a test. It is so tender. It's like having a nice juicy beefy meatball, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. Absolutely fantastic. Potatoes are creamy, buttery, a little salty. A little bit of parsley is actually a nice hit of freshness. You gotta try it. Definitely an amazing recipe, super satisfying, very comforting, really quite easy to make, and fast. No weird ingredients. Yeah. Please let me know what you think if you try this recipe. I'd love to hear from you. Today, I've made for you Salisbury steak. It is not your old teeny serving. It is not your old teeny serving it's not your old TV what? It is not your standard TV dinner that is low on flavor, low on quantity. Seasonings, garlic, onion powder, Dijon mustard. What am I missing?